Wendy Every Which Way was released way back in August of 2001 for the Game Boy Color. That's a few months after the release of the Game Boy Advance, believe it or not. Because of this, very few people bothered to check the game out. Worse still is that Wendy is actually from Casper the Friendly Ghost universe, and therefore this is technically a licensed game, further cementing the fact that really only a limited amount of people would ever play the game. It was developed by the ever-popular WayForward Technologies. You might remember them from Alien Infestation, Contra 4, DuckTales Remastered, and the Shantae series. Interestingly, Wendy Every Which Way was published by TDK, the old technology company that used to release VHS and cassette tapes. I honestly had no idea these guys ever actually published video games before. I was never a big portable game fan myself, but that all changed with the Game Boy Advance. It was like having a Super Nintendo on the go, which was just amazing. Now, that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy a solid portable release. After all, I was there day one for The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, Super Mario Land, amongst many others. I just never considered myself a hardcore portable gaming fan until the Game Boy Advance hit. Anyways, when I first heard about Wendy Every Which Way, I wasn't that interested. It seemed like a child's game and it was on the Game Boy Color, meaning it would be somewhat similar to an NES game, and I really wanted to play and experience games on the Game Boy Advance. A buddy of mine picked the game up, I tried it out, and I was blown away. I raced to the store, purchased a copy, and well, the rest is history. Wendy Every Which Way is a fantastic title because it perfectly reveals all there is to reveal about the gameplay. You take on the role of Wendy, who accidentally released 12 magical stones which were holding up an ancient prison. With the prison grounded, it's up to Wendy to collect the stones and put right what she's wronged. Armed with only a little wand that shoots projectiles, she'll have to jump from platform to platform to reach each stage's gem. It sounds simple, and in reality, it is. But the twist is that Wendy has the ability to reverse gravity. This means at any point she can be walking along the ground, jump up, reverse gravity, and then walk on the ceiling. Now use your imagination and you can start to see all sorts of imaginative stages wrapped around this design element. When you couple this with the fact enemies also have strengths and weaknesses depending on which way gravity is pulling, and you have yourself one of the most original games ever released on the Game Boy Color. The only downside is that it's extremely easy because it was designed for children, with only a few stages offering up any challenge whatsoever. However, there are 3 bonus stages that are unlocked if you play the game on the Game Boy Advance, and these are rather challenging. This is mainly because you die if you get hit once, whereas in the main stages your life is attached to a 5-star meter. As you progress through the stages, you locate stars, which fill the meter, and also act as a power gauge for your wand. At 5 stars, your little wand shoots several projectiles that make dispatching enemies a breeze. Get hit once, lose a star, lose all the stars, and you lose a life. Thankfully, there's a hard mode for those looking for a bit more of a challenge, although honestly, it is just a bit more of a challenge. As I said earlier, there are 12 gems in the game, meaning there are only 12 stages, 4 worlds made up of 3 levels each. There are also 3 bonus stages which take the shape of a horizontal shooter. These stages are exceptionally easy, and even the very last stage and boss fight all take place in a horizontal shooter that's really simple. The 3 Game Boy Advance exclusive levels can be challenged afterwards are the real delight. There's also a simple 4-digit password system for those looking to return to the stage they left off at, but since the whole game can be completed in about, 30 minutes or so, I can't imagine anyone actually using the passwords. That said, I appreciate they added them in and that they're only 4 digits. It's very clear that this was designed for kids, but due to the creative nature of the game, it's really easy for me to recommend this one to everyone. It's getting harder and harder to find copies on eBay these days, so if you're curious, I would suggest doing whatever it takes to purchase the game before they're gone for good. Clearly not many copies were made, and that's a shame because I would have loved to have seen this series evolve, even if it were to use another protagonist or another series. WayForward's other late Game Boy Color game, Shantae, is now one of the most sought-after games on the platform, and I have a feeling that one of these days, Wendy Every Which Way will become another hidden classic.